Is there a way, if I have to, can I shut the screen off in this ninja thing? Never used it before.
Do you shut the screen off?
Oh, never mind. Figured it out. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can't see you anymore though.
Alright, that's what I meant.
Okay.
In case my kids come running in here butt naked after a bath or something.
That would be normal.
Yeah, chances are
Interesting.
highly likely.
We have 4 people in here.
Okay. Alright, I'm streaming whenever Larissa is ready.
I'm
Are you still looking at stuff?
downloaded that I'm gonna be ready.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Bum ba bum ba dum ba dum.
Luckily, Roll20 allows you to have multiple like instances up because I have Roll20 up on my gaming PC and then Roll20 up on my other PC, so I can like do the rolls.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I don't have to like have it blocking the map at all because I only have one monitor on that PC.
And here I am struggling with just my laptop.
You know, I'll have to send you a picture of what this this room looks like one day and all the monitors I'm looking at.
Oh yeah, I would love to see the chaos that is that.
Why are you so tan? Getting cooked from all these monitors.
It's true. How did you know?
Mm.
So another thing for DM, we don't have options for disadvantage and advantage right now.
Okay.
At least I don't.
Go
Maybe
into
other people do.
sheets. Nope, I don't think. I think since you guys made your own sheets, my default settings didn't automatically take. So you're gonna see me moving stuff around in your sheets. Just don't worry, it is me. Oops. Toggle.
Oh,
Just done. Right. Once we get all the technical issues done, we can then move on to some of the session 0 stuff, then the technical in-game stuff, and then we can begin running the some roles. Advantage. Spare.
Can you guys hear me tinkering over here? Is it bugging anybody?
Nope. I hear no
nope.
tinkering.
Nope.
Right.
You can show off what you're building though if you want. I know where you went today, so
Oh.
wait, bring closer to the camera, sir. How do I make you full size again?
Fucking $100 model here.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Usharan, yeah. I like my modeling shit. Hobbying.
Oh, I need to
Yeah.
not right now, but at some point we'll have to get some like socials from everyone and make a an automatic message. Be like, go here for this because I know you, Tavik, you have Instagram. I don't know what you have DM if you have socials, but
Snapchat, I think.
Snapchat.
I do have a Twitter X account that I never use, and I do have an Instagram account that I never use.
Oh, the Helldiver.
That's true.
You know, I fight for democracy. That's what I do very well.
For liberty.
That's my favorite line. I use that in real life. Have a taste
Everything.
of liberty.
Great. Everything about that game's great.
All right.
What's your favorite gun?
Right now,
Like main weapon or stratagem?
Main weapon.
Main weapon, I like the what is it? The Dillianch? The ooh, I
The
can't
sniper rifle, marksman rifle thingy?
Yeah, the marksman rifle, the base model, not the
Not the
enhanced
counter.
one.
Not the
No.
That's
counter.
not what I want.
I really don't like the amount of recoil that it has.
Mm-hmm.
And I get just as much done with the regular one.
Haven't used that one. I like the regular one.
Mhm.
Not my personal favorite. I'm a Scorcher person. But that's
Yeah.
because I'm on Mevalon Creek all the time fighting the
no.
robots.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You like PTSD.
I have seen the hallucinations as well, so there's that. So yeah, lovely. But no, I really like the Scorcher just because the little scout walkers I can shoot straight through the front of it with it.
Mm.
Alright, y'all. So I am officially streaming. I am live.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is Helldivers D&D. Welcome to real PTSD.
Yeah. Long leave her crying.
Right. So people are. Do we have most of the technical issues taken care of?
I think so.
If you're streaming, streamings are up. We are now live in that regard. Alright, so I put a little list of kind of a rough discussion as a group of kind of for our session 0. A little bit I don't know what the proper word for it would be, but just a discussion of, you know, expectations for the game, what we're doing for each other, and so on. I don't think it's on the server. I think it was in our original chat posting. It may be in the server. I pinned it somewhere.
It's not the server that I know of.
No idea.
Just
Yeah,
here for the
it's not
punch and
in
buy.
Discord. So it's gotta be in the original messages.
Yeah.
And
Here, I
there's
thought I put it
messages
up here,
about
but alright, so it's in the original messaging. I don't technically need it, but it's nice to have a bit of a script to run off of. Has to be the server. I feel like I made the server earlier on.
We talked in that message for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember where this messages were. Like
Yeah, I thought I pinned it, but apparently I didn't.
So we do have a pin. No, it's just the new Discord.
Adding a healing backpack stratagem? What the fuck?
Oh, please, please. All right, here we go. All right. The first discussion will be whole discussion with the group about the game. Expectations for the game. So we are going to be running the Lost Mines of Fendelver, which is a module provided by Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons & Dragons. It's an introductory module that will run from levels 1 through 5. Roughly is levels 1 through 5. I've run it before, and it can take anywhere from 10 to 14 sessions, depending on how fast we move on everything from there. After that, we can decide to either keep our characters and do a custom story. We can reset do an entirely new campaign, pick up a different module, or we can make those adjustments there. Those decisions don't have to be made now, but just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. As for, so that's that. So expectations for the group. For the most part, I think everyone's kind of down for the whole role playing part of it. I'm really bad at voices. I will do my best to give some inflection on who's talking, but I'm probably gonna be like, so and so says this, so and so says that. I'm also really bad with names and fantasy names, especially. So I'm telling you that right now. I'm gonna butcher a lot of things. As for characters ourselves, since we're going to be mostly streaming this, and we're going to want to keep a little bit more of a role-playing concept to it, I'm going to make the assumption that most of what you're saying is going to be discussed as an in-player discussion. If you have any specific questions on like mechanics or game like that, just say like out of player or to the DM or something to say that you're breaking character for that moment, and that'll just kind of keep us going there. I'll do the best to do that as well. As we play through the game, I will do my best to stay on rules as much as possible. But I am a fair believer of rule of cool. Essentially, if you can make a good argument for something that either, like they do this, that either breaks the rules or doesn't go through the normal convention, I'll allow it. Sometimes, not always. You can make the argument, or I can just say, since you did this, you don't have to make a roll, you just get it. One example would be, let's say you're talking to a guard, you as the player make a convincing persuasion towards the guard to let you guys pass through. As the rolling aspect of it, it's like, that's kind of a hard logic to go against. I'm just going to let you pass through, when under normal circumstances I'll have your character make a persuasion check to convince them in that situation. But if it works out, just to kind of keep the story moving, I'll allow it or run it through there. Or if, let's say, your character wants to hop from one tree to another tree, normally it'd be some sort of dexterity-based check. If your character if you say to me like, well, my character has the boots of springing, and they're very athletic, they have an acrobatic background, and they've jumped from pole to pole, so like, okay, I can just make the assumption that they make the rolls there. When it comes to most combat scenarios, and like tension and pressure is on you, we will be making a lot more hard checks. If it's one of those situations where like my character's going to beat this door down to break it open, if you're not running from anything, if there isn't some sort of like tension in that moment, I'm not going to have you roll 1,000 attack rolls to see whether or not you can break this door down. We're just going to say, yeah, like after X amount of time, you eventually are able to break the door down. To the same extent, attacking a solid wooden door with a rapier isn't really going to do as much as attacking a solid wooden door with a like warhammer or mace.
Or a barbarian.
Or a barbarian that just says, I break door down with face. Like, go for it, bro. So, as As those come up, the scenarios will kind of vary and change from all that. As since most of us are new here, as the DM, I'm the game engine and the ref for the game.
You are God.
More or less. I I would ask that you guys, be creative in what you do and really want to kind of push you guys into, thinking outside of the box, because that usually leads to better situations and scenarios.
More fun.
More fun. But to the same extent, if I say that this just won't go, it's kind of like if I put my foot down on that, that's the ruling that ends up going through it. As custom
Can't argue
rulings
with God.
go, yeah, as custom rulings go, sometimes there'll be scenarios that just there are no rules for. I may make something up at the time to fit it there. As much as I will try to keep that ruling for every future scenario, it more likely than not will change simply because I can't keep that many notes. I will go insane. Um, so that is a little bit of that there. What other ones? When it comes to the rules, players. As players, I ask that you respect one another. Not only in game but out of game. I don't think we'll really have much of an issue there. If there ever is a situation where people can't get along, I ask that you deal with that on your own. If it becomes a larger issue that I need to get involved into, that'll come down as that. I don't see any of that going down. Just kind of something to throw out there. But for the most part, it seems all of us will pretty much be good on that. When it comes to any role-playing aspect to them, as just a general rule of improv, it always comes down to a yes and statement. Try not to completely, there will be tension in the moments. Sometimes you'll have different opinions and anything of that sort. But don't put another player in a situation where they kind of have no ability to make the choices of their own. Sometimes the party could decide to like, oh, we need to knock out this guy. We need to knock out our own player for something like that. If it makes sense, story beat wise. But as an improv situation, kind of give the other person the ability to speak and be autonomous with their own character. That kind of covers that. So I'm going to go through a lot of information. I don't expect you guys to remember any of that. But as of now, comments, questions, concerns?
Great.
Nope. All right.
I
Awesome.
do.
All good.
So I
Yep.
have somebody in my stream right now that is saying that our voices are silent.
Voices are silent.
Are you?
Yes.
Do you have can do you have the Discord audio going through your stream?
How do I do that?
I'm gonna go feed my dog while y'all figure this out.
Hang on, I'm pulling you back up real quick.
Good idea.
Testing. Can you scroll down on your mixer?
Okay, he can hear it now. I just had to fix it because I have different headphones
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
forgot to set the desktop audio to the new headphones.
Nice.
My
Okay.
kids broke my $300 pair of headphones.
Gosh.
And I do have another question. I vape. Is that going to be a problem for you, Radar, on your stream?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
I have no issues with that.
Personally
Okay.
offended. I'm quite
Alright, well-
sarcastic, and I think it's going to carry over to my character. So
Oh yeah, that
I
works
mean,
out
the
there.
smoke is for some little graphics for it.
yeah, it's like your
Fireball.
character. You're
Yeah.
you're always puffing away. Go.
Right. So I do know as we kind of get into things, it's going to take a little bit for us to really get into the mood or to really get everything going. So starting off in games, one thing that I will try to do is I will ask a recap from the group of what happened last session, and then I will also go through each individual character and kind of get a ask where your character's mindset is, either based on what happened last session or any current thoughts or feelings that they may have in the moment of whatever we're doing. One, it kind of hopefully helps your characters get into the hopefully gets you into more of that character mindset, and it also gives me a general idea of what you're feeling, what you're going through, allowing me to kind of mold the game as need be. Um,
I do have one
so
more question.
yes.
Can you requote what you said when we were talking before I went live and if Radar went live about Ducks joining? Because he's wanting to know about joining still.
Oh, yes. Since we have our current group set up now, we'll kind of like run it as is. If, if as a group things work out and stay as is, it'll be there. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to add someone. But since we already started, we'll just kind of move forward. After session 2, we'll go back on it, see how everyone feels about it. If the group agrees, I'll have a private session with Duck. Get him up to speed, bring him up to wherever we need him to be, and then we can kind of run it from there.
Luckily, what's nice is he can probably watch this and be caught up pretty quick.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
can definitely
he's my
keep up on that.
moderator.
Yeah.
He's in my he's my mod, so he's in my chat right now.
There we
Oh,
go.
even better. So yeah, like as long as you can keep notes on that. Another big thing is that I've been very adamant, even in our messages and on the group chat, is while I am the DM that runs the game and everything like that, this is a group endeavor. Everyone has a voice. Everyone gets to make a decision. We can have whatever arguments or discussions about anything, but at the end of the day, if I say no on something and the entire group is saying like we all want to do this, well, I'll make the adjustments to make sure it happens. Um,
I would like to be level 10 now. Can I make that happen?
level 10 now.
Yes.
I would also like to be level 10 now.
All right, yeah, everyone can be
wanna-
level 10. I'm gonna throw a couple Trask. Oh no, lightning struck all of you.
Oh, new
Again, we have
characters.
to
All right.
reset. Darn.
That's okay. I have 50 more characters for this.
I want my fathomless powers because I want my tentacles.
Yeah, I think that
Hey,
comes up
that's
at
what I'm
level
playing in my other campaign.
4.
Definitely would.
One of the people I'm playing with, they're also playing a Fathomless Warlock, I think. So they get all the tentacles. I am easily the scariest thing in my Tuesday campaign. Easily. The DM has even said so.
He's actually one of the reasons why I got into wanting to play D&D.
Wait a second. My mouse is working, the camera's working, but nothing else is working.
I have that
You're right.
effect. My face just breaks things.
Alright, where's my phone? So I'll just work off here, then I'll reset my computer in a moment.
Yeah, your camera's still good, so it's weird.
Radar, would you mind hopping
Yeah,
into
like-
the stream and just saying like hi real quick? That's all I'm asking.
How do I not have any attacks or spells?
Because I would do a shout out for everyone, but
on your sheet?
nobody really.
Yeah, I'm looking at my Roll20 on my mobile, and for some reason it says I don't have any attacks or spells. And when I look at my sheet on the actual thing, I do.
Interesting. Alright, alright, I'm just gonna do this now. I'm going to...
There we go.
Don't I don't have any tool proficiencies either. Hmm. Interesting.
Do we got a couple minutes? I'm gonna run to the bathroom and get a drink. Is that okay with everybody? Before we get started?
It is
All
fine
good.
with me. I have mine in my Dungeons and Dragons cup that I made. So, I don't know if y'all drink out of cups like this, but I planned on making y'all each a Dungeons and Dragons tumbler.
That's awesome. Do you make those normally?
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
Probably would have bought one already, but I'm a broke motherfucker.
All you gotta do.
So, Oliver, you were having issues, right?
Yeah. I just uninstalled the app on my phone and I'm reinstalling it to see if that fixes it right now.
Okay. I know the app's a little finicky at times. I did also make some adjustments, but I don't think that should have done anything.
It's
Yeah.
been doing this before you would have made any adjustments. This is not a new thing. I just thought I did.
Okay. Right. I did put it this time. Right. As I said, I'll be mostly playing through official rules. There are a handful of house rules that I do implement into my game.
Hang on one
Health
second.
potions are
We lost Tavik for 1 second.
Yeah, Tavik went to go get a drink real quick. I use the bathroom.
right. Can you put your mic a little closer to you, Mandy?
I just don't want to be able. I just don't want to breathe all up on the mic and everything.
I gotcha. I can also increase your volume on my end if that's a thing.
So, a totally random off the wall question. Would it be smart to buy the D&D handbook and just have it to read?
Uh, yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay.
Oh, one thing you can do is, since you are loaded up into my game, in Roll20's compendium, you should be able to look up the player's handbook and read it off there, because I should have it on there. So you don't have to go through that.
Uh.
I do, since this is on the internet for it to be recorded by anyone, I won't say what I was going to say, but message me after the game and I might be able to help you out find it on Roll20.
I should also have it on D&D Beyond as well. So if I should send you an invite to one of my non-campaign campaigns, you can just have the book while you're in there.
Thank you, Vincent.
Yeah, myself bought a bunch of the D&D books.
I mean, I was wanting to get a hard copy of that one and then Dungeon Master one just so I could read it. So that way, if I ever decide to do like my own and be a Dungeon Master, I would know what I'm doing. Or at
It's
least I could read it and pretend like I know what I'm doing.
the player handbook is really good for the mechanics of characters and everything. If you ever want to try to run a game yourself, the Dungeon Master book will explain more of the actual like fine details of spellcasting and all of the additional rules that you will probably never use, but will eventually come up. Like Raider in the library campaign, I had to look up mounted combat rules.
Ooh.
Just for that guy we fought Friday night.
Yeah,
Or the
yeah.
other guy.
Just for that one guy, and the fact that you are now on a dinosaur. You know,
Yeah.
and I now know the rules.
Yeah, of
Nice.
course he is.
You're on a
See, I wanna
dinosaur?
sit- I want to sit in on one of these.
Yeah, my 7 foot tall barbarian is riding a dinosaur right now.
Of course you are.
Because that's just how it goes.
That's okay. My 8 foot tall Warforged Paladin has a dreadnought-sized airship.
Nice.
This is how it goes. All right.
I'm just a tiefling with tentacles.
Alright, so I know the only so as I said before, we'll be running mostly official rules. There are a handful of house rules that I like to play with. I'm gonna say though we'll discuss them as they come up, simply for the fact that I can't remember any of them right now, except for one. One house rule that I do play by is potions do max health instead of rolled health. I just it's just how I run things. Health potions and other consumable potions of that, instead of taking an action to drink, you can use a bonus action to drink them. So you can give them to yourself and just down them. I don't play this rule in all games, but another one just for this one, simply because we're streaming it, and I think it just adds to the tension of things. If you want to give a potion to somebody, it will cost you an action to do so. So you yourself can take all the potions you want, but if you want to give a potion to somebody, that costs an action. For those of us that don't know what the action or bonus action means, we can cover that in a little bit. Let's see. And then I did leave a part to discuss any streaming part of things. If the group wants to have those discussions now, if anything immediately comes up. Um, the only thing I had on it came down to character art, since we do have this, going out. If probably pulling stuff off of YouTube and all that wouldn't work. I'm not really sure on all the aspects of that.
The only thing really to be concerned about is like music.
Okay.
Usually, music is the only concern.
Are you putting this on YouTube, Radar?
This is on YouTube, Kick, and Twitch for me right now.
Cool.
And it's just on Twitch for me.
Do I get royalties?
As of right now, Machinima has not gotten back to me on anything. I've also tried to reach out to Matt Mercer, but apparently I'm blocked on everything.
I hate when that happens.
Right? Every time. Like,
Ugh.
I'm up to my 12th account. Like, I can't keep doing this. Alright. As of anything that we've kind of discussed up to right now, are there any comments, questions, or concerns?
I got a question.
Yeah.
Just a random question. Okay, so for whenever people roll a critical hit, how do you do it?
Oh, that would also be
Question.
another house rule that I do. So, rules as written, standard critical rolls are rolled that you double any dice rolls that you put in there. Since I don't like how ineffective that sometimes gets, I've seen ones come up. The way I have it is you roll the dice normally, and then we add a second round of dice, all at maximum. So, for example, if you're running a greatsword that does a 1d8 plus 3, the normal critical rules for that is you'd be rolled 2d8 plus 3. In this situation, the way I run it is the one of the dice will be maxed out, so it will be 8 plus the 1d8 plus 3. Does that make sense?
Yes,
No.
because that's how most DMs I know do it.
So that just, it ensures that you hit as, harder than normal, and you don't get screwed over with the double ones.
That sucks.
Assuming you're gonna kind of guide us through what we need to roll at times.
Yeah. As we kind of get through things, I'll point things out. So
Roll 20
know
does a lot
just
of it
give
too.
Yeah. But I'll run through that as well. Another thing I do like to address for all the games that I run are any particular you know, we all have different lives and, you know, have experienced different things. I do bring up to the group any topics or discussions that you would rather me not get into. You don't have to give me any reasons for it. Private message me on any of the stuff that you know, anything that doesn't trigger something sort of situation. I want everyone to feel that this is a safe space and all that. Um, you can message me whenever. It doesn't have to come up now, but that's, you know, something there. And I think that's it for that there. Addressing all those little things for session 0. We can begin getting into the meat and potatoes of this game. So,
Potatoes.
What is it?
so one of the things I like to put in here, so I can actually let me. I'm going to hide one. I'm going to hide two things. Then I'm going to share my screen just to help guide people through some of it. So Roll20 does take a little bit to get used to. It's just kind of, it's just one of those things as it is. As issues come up, feel free to ask me. I can make most modifications, and I can help adjust things as well. Add modifiers or run you through all of that. So let me share my screen. I'm just gonna give a quick little tutorial on a handful of things. Keep in mind, my screen will look different than your screen. Not only in placement of stuff, but how some things may look. Simply that comes down to I'm running a DM I'm running a DM game, and I'm also running some beta features as well. So as you can see, here's the screen. Most of us will have access to a toolbar on the left-hand side of our screen. You'll have your standard cursor, your pan, which allows you to kind of pan the screen left to right, up or down. You can also do it by right-clicking on your mouse as long as you have the select tool, like so. So you see how it gives a little hand once I grab down on it and to move it. You'll have a paintbrush, so you can draw certain things. I don't think you guys have you may have option to the text. You do not have the effects tools. You do not have the lightings tools or the fog of war. You also have a measuring tape. You can select the measuring tape and calculate distances. I will do my best to ensure that most maps have proper distances set so that you can roughly see where you're going. Turn order, that's something that you guys don't have. I'll be able to turn that on. And probably one of the more important ones is the dice roller. So get rid of that. The dice roller pretty much gives you all the major dices that you'll need. Yep, I have a fudge roller. I have no idea how it works. Wink,
Say, what
wink,
is that?
nudge, nudge. Right? It allows me to fake the rolls, but even in the chat you can see that I fake the rolls. So
Good stuff.
it doesn't do anything.
Quick question: how do I delete my drawing?
Yes. So with the select tool,
Oh, it's
you
on everyone's
can
screen.
highlight it. Should select it and then just delete. I can also delete anything that you guys put on there. Maybe. There you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can click on it, delete it.
Okay.
You know, feel free to write on the map for whatever need be. Another option is so long as you have the select tool, if you left click and hold down anywhere, you can ping locations, which is useful in case you want to, like, hey DM, I want to move here, I want to do that. Nice little function there. You guys don't have access to any of these. These are all my stuff. Over on the left hand side, there's also a zoom in and out. You can use your scroll wheel as well. That's usually what I use, but
Yeah,
to your
that's-
discretion. Over on this section, you'll have your main chat box. The chat box will give you a link for this campaign, which is usually blacked out for streaming purposes like this. You can also, in the chat box, give certain commands to allow yourself to do whatever roles. So, for example, if you look up here, you have dice roll commands. If you do, I think this is / type out roll 1d20 or /R 1d20, it will roll a 1d20. For example, / R 1d, we'll do a 68. It'll roll a d68 despite the fact that they don't exist. Allows you to kind of do some really interesting stuff there. Another thing you can do is you can do whisper rolls. So if you were to put / W and then talk to, let's say I want to talk to Raider. Maybe. Do I have the wrong name? I have the wrong Cell.
Yeah, it's
He's
under
put
cell.
on his Cell here. Yeah. So I can put Cell. I can send that and just be hello. That message will exclusively get sent to Cell, and nobody else in the chat group will be able to see it. So on your screen, you shouldn't see the hello message that comes up. That also works if you want to send me something in private as well. Now, cool functions. Otherwise, you never have to use it. Everything else, roles, spells, and anything will show up here. So this will be the main one that we're on. The other options that you have here is you'll have, actually I don't think you have access to this one. This is just kind of all my tokens and maps and everything else I use on my end. You'll have your journal. The journal will give you access to pretty much anything that I give you guys access to. These are some of the modules that I have, or part of the modules that I have. I have archived characters. More likely than not, all you guys can see is the character folder and the handouts folder. But this is where you'll go to look at your character sheet and everything. I can open up anyone's character sheet, pull it up. If you guys try to open up someone else's character sheet aside from yours, it would just be a picture of the character and then their background description. You'll also have access to the compendium. The compendium will pretty much give you access to any of the books that I have in Roll20. So like, let's say you can look up monsters. That becomes a little tricky because then we could say it's metagaming. I'm not going to police it. But what's really cool about the compendium is you can look up spells. Like, let's say you wanted to look up Toll of the Dead. Toll, if I can spell, of the dead. My search box will look different than yours, simply because I have a different thing. You can, I don't think you guys can do category searches on your end, but you can find spells, monsters, and even certain class and character information. You can pull it up, it'll give you a description of what's going on, and what's really nice about it as well, if you're a magic caster, like we're going to use Cell over here, I could, if I wanted to, drag and drop this into a sheet and it would put all the appropriate stats in there. It also works for any items available, like +1 armors, weapons, and all that, and it'll adjust it to your sheet accordingly. And then you have, I don't know if you have access to the jukebox or the macros. Actually, you guys should have access to the macros. We're not going to touch them. We can get into it, but that's a whole different thing. And then the settings page. I'm pretty sure my settings are more in-depth than your settings, but that's that. So as for a Roll20 run through, that's how that one goes. For character sheets, I'm going to be using Raider's character sheets as the example. So on everyone's character sheet, it should look a little bit different, but more or less the information will be different, but you should have the exact same layout. I have put toggles up here for public to GM, and then advantage, disadvantage, and normal. The way these will run is, let's say I want to run my quarterstaff, so it's set to normal. It'll run the quarterstaff, and it'll make the roll respectively. Let's say, I want to run it with advantage. I run the quarterstaff, it'll highlight the highest number of the two. Disadvantage will do the lower number of the two. In situations where you accidentally have disadvantage or advantage toggle, then I just needed a normal roll. We will always use the leftmost number as the first roll and as the actual roll. So when it comes to public and GM rolls, those essentially, there will be certain situations where I'll ask you to roll something specifically to me that nobody else can see. At which point you will toggle to GM, so only I can see it. You'll make your appropriate roll. We'll mark it down. I'll give you whatever information needs to go, and nobody else can see that. It's not so much it's kind of a more of a role-playing aspect to it, not to really keep secrets, but sometimes information that you guys shouldn't know, or roles that shouldn't be known throughout the party shouldn't be known throughout the party. But that'll be there and there. You'll have this inspiration box, which at the end of sessions or throughout the games, I can give you inspiration. Inspiration is a mechanic used into Roll20, which allows you to make essentially allows you to make an advantage roll whenever you want. But we can get into that at a different point. Most things here will be, if you hover over them, will be highlighted red or whatever other color you may have in there. That allows you to essentially just roll straight from your sheet. So let's say I have Raider, I need him to make a wisdom saving throw for whatever check. Instead of having to type out the wisdom modifier with whatever abilities he has, he can simply click on it. It'll make the appropriate roll and add the appropriate modifier to it, which just makes life 1,000 times easier, and it takes care of most of the math for it. Your armor class will be posted here. You'll have all your saving throws, and then corresponding with the proficiency bonuses. Proficiency bonuses go up as we level up. Right now, everyone should have a proficiency of 2. That just means that for whatever reason, your character is more proficient in that ability as opposed to other things. Proficiency bonuses will be marked off by check marks. Your character sheet should be already set up, so there's no reason to check or uncheck anything there. As the game progresses, either through a series of magical items or special abilities that I allow you or give you, you can check them on or off as as need be. These long and short rest buttons here, they're kind of finicky at times. We won't really worry about too much about them. You don't have to do too much there. But something that is very useful are these trackers here. So right now, Raider only has Arcane Recovery, which is a special ability that allows him to recover spell slots. But let's say you're a ranger and you want to have, I don't know, you want to be able to keep track of your arrows. You can make yourself a new box by clicking this little plus sign. You can say you have a total of let's say your quiver only holds 12 arrows. You have a total of 12. You've already used 2, so you have 10 now. You can obviously keep track of your items there, and you can use it for anything, however you so see fit. Your abilities and features will be tracked down here. You can open them up on your sheet to see there. Sometimes I may ask, like, hey, Raider, do you have some sort of ability that allows you to have resistances to being charmed? He's like, oh, yes, I do. Like, do you mind posting it in the chat? If you hit the little bubble here, it'll throw it in the chat for everybody to see. Or if I'm like, hey, does anybody have language proficiencies? You can go over here to your proficiencies, whether weapons, languages, or anything of that sort. Click on that, and it's like, oh, okay, Raider has proficiencies in Elvish. You'll have certain tool proficiencies over here, which we'll get into whenever they come up with. This box here will be your attacks and spells. Most of them should be filled out automatically. It'll pretty much see like what item you're using for, whether it's a weapon of some kind like a quarterstaff or a magical cantrip or spell like Firebolt. It'll give you a modifier. Sorry. It'll give you a modifier here, which is how. Is that right? Is that modifier right for you? Quarterstaff. Yeah, it's a strength base. Either way, modifiers here will run through as such. So like Firebolt, he gets a +5 to his roll to be able to hit. It should already have it here, and then it already has the appropriate damage. That may not make sense now, but it will at some future point. Then we have our bio section.
Oh no,
His
Your
audio
stream-
just went out.
your stream ended.
We lost him.
He's talking, but we can't see him. We can't hear you.
Bro, you gone.
Hold
He's on
on.
a roll.
How do we do this?
I hear you guys, but I don't hear the GM.
It dropped out.
You
There you go.
were on a roll too.
Yeah.
Mouth
Fucking-
movement.
Going for it. Damn. Alright. When did I drop out?
I think right when you switched to the spells page is when you dropped out.
Spells page. Okay, so
Yeah.
I didn't lose too much.
No.
I didn't even have my phone next to me, but all right, let me bring up
Like we were
that.
messaging you in D20 talking about we can't hear you.
Yeah.
My GM.
Yeah, I'm going
bro.
around. All of a sudden, I start seeing messages come up, and it's like, we can't hear you. It's like, what?
Let you
I
go.
look at Discord, and it's gone. I was like, what happened there?
Crashed.
All right.
Why is my initiative at 4?
All right. Am I still live? Am I still good?
Yep,
Alright.
you're good.
There.
Right. So on the spell section, if you have access to spells, the sheet's important to you. If you don't have access to spells, it's not going to go. It's nice because it takes control of your spellcasting ability. If you're a spellcaster, it should automatically be filled out. If it's not filled out, tell me so I can get that adjusted. But it will calculate your spell save DC, which will be used for the spell itself, whether it's an attack or a defense or something that a creature needs to make to protect themselves or to see whether or not it hits. And then spell attack bonuses are determined, same thing through a calculation that's gone in there. I won't go into the details on how it's done, but essentially these are good numbers to know, and sometimes I'll ask you what they are. For cantrips, you can use them as many times as you want, as often as you want, so long as you follow whatever criteria they request of you. Just like anything else, if you click on it while it's highlighted, it'll run it through. Sometimes I may ask you, can you throw it up in the chat for us to see? In which case you'll hit the little bubble and it'll throw up the spell on there. Or sometimes if you just want to read it on your own to see what it does, you can read it there. Since I have this open, we'll just go through it. Every spell requires a series of conditions for it to be used properly. In this one, to use a firebolt, it requires a casting time of 1 action. It needs to be within a range of 120 feet. It can target a creature or object within that range, and then it'll have some sort of components. V will stand for verbal components, meaning that you have to give some sort of verbal component for the spell, like an incantation or something. S stands for somatic components, meaning that you have to have some sort of hand gesture. And then there's also a consumable component toward things. Some items will require you to have some sort of, component towards it, whether it be like a feather, soot from a burnt ash, or will require like a diamond for Revivify. To bring somebody back, you have to use a diamond that's worth at least 300 gold pieces to bring them back. So those are the components that you need for the spell. These become a thing, especially if you're like, you want to cast Firebolt to have somebody, but you have to, say the words out loud. If I were to gag you in game, well, most verbal components you obviously can no longer say, so you can't produce that spell anymore. The duration, instantaneous, and then a description of what the spell does. For spellcasters, you'll also have your spell slots. Depending on your class, you'll have access to different levels of spell slots. So for our wizards, right now you only have 2 level 1 spell slots. All that means is that while you have, 6 level 1 spells that you can cast, you can only cast 2 of them at any time. Essentially, you have 2 level 1, um, I don't know, yeah, two level 1 slots for it. So you can just cast Disguise Self 2 times, or you can cast Shield and Disguise Self, and you'll just use this to keep track of that. But I think that is more or less the entire sheet. I know I went through a lot. Feel free to ask me any questions as they come up. I don't expect you to remember any of it, but
You did a good
that's where we are from here.
Are you ready for the quiz now, or?
Yeah. So you guys good? No, your Noble Chew pencils, Scantron should have been delivered to your house yesterday. All right. So that said, the roles and everything of that sort, I'll ask you for. If there's ever any question on how you can do something, feel free to ask me. I'm gonna go over how we're going to be doing combat and turn orders. That'll more or less be a lot of the real mechanics of how this game works. One thing that I do ask, if you're not sure on how something works or debating on whether or not you can do something, ask me. As I don't think I said it early in the stream, but when we're playing D&D, while I'm the one that definitely controls all the bad guys and makes the bad things happen to you, like I'm not against you. It's just literally the role that I'm playing in game. Um, so it's never a players against the DM. It's just it's just the part of the game that I'm in charge of and I'm playing with there. So if you guys ever have a plan saying like, I don't know, I want to be able to run across the cliff and do this and do a backflip there and so on and so forth, like how do I go about doing that, or can I even do that? I'll determine on my end, based on the rules, whether or not you're able to do it or what checks you'll need to accomplish to do it. At which point you can determine if you want to go ahead and do it, or be like, maybe my character can't do a backflip over a lob uh, over a pit of, I don't know, strikes with laser beams on their head. Like, maybe I just don't want to do that, as cool as it would be.
Frickin' laser beams.
Right. Alright. So I like using this little sheet in my library games because it's a real good reference for all players. You should all have access to it, and it should have popped up on your screen. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a idea of how turns and rounds will go. So on each one of your turns, as shown here, you'll have 3 things that you can do. You'll have an action, a bonus action, and movement. And between turns, you'll also have a reaction. Reactions, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But each turn phase, so each one of your turn phase, and technically each round phase lasts a total of 6 seconds. Has everyone here seen the D&D movie that recently came out?
I did.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. As you know, as many liberties as the movie takes, if you actually watch the fight scene between the main characters and the final boss at the very end of the movie, um, everyone has a turn that happens within a 6 second time frame. It's really cool in how they did that. If you go back and watch that scene, pull it up on YouTube or wherever, and you count 6 seconds, you'll see that everyone does a turn in that. When imagining how this game works, everyone does their turn at the exact same time. We'll just do it in, we'll have to do it in turn order simply to get the mechanics out of there. But each round will last 6 seconds, and your character will have 6 seconds to do whatever they want. During that turn, you can choose to take your action, and on your action, you can do anything from either attack, cast a spell that uses an action, dash, disengage, dodge, give a help action, hide, ready an action, or use an object of some kind. Depending on the character and everything, some characters like rogues are able to dash, disengage, and dodge. No, dash, disengage, and hide as part of their bonus action, but that's allowed specifically in their character sheet. Not every character has access to a bonus action, but some characters can use bonus actions to do various of other things. Some spells cost a bonus action to use. Some abilities cost a bonus action. For like barbarians, they can rage using a bonus action. That'll just be determined on your character and everything. You can also, on your character sheets, you should have a speed. That is how much movement you have during a given turn. Most of you should have 30 feet, except for maybe Windsong, since you're a halfling. I think you have 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that just means he can only move 25 feet in a turn. So going over these actions, attacks are fairly straightforward. You attack either with a weapon, with a spell, or something of that sort. Casting a spell, same thing. It's either some sort of spell, cantrip, leveled spell that you're doing. Dashing allows you to double your movement. Now, some people, depending on where you go about it, rules as written, by doubling your movement, essentially you get another round of movement. So if you have 30 feet of movement, you get to move another 30 feet. If for whatever reason you have the ability to take the dash action twice, it's not you move 30 feet for 60 and then double that for 120. It's you just get another round of 30 feet of movement, giving you a total of 90 feet of movement. Under most circumstances, it won't come up, but there's certain spells, potions, and abilities that allow you to make multiple dashes. The way we'll run it as rules as written, where you just get another full round of movement on your round. Disengage allows you to disengage from whatever combat you are and move out of that zone without potentially taking what's known as an opportunity attack. If you're fighting somebody and you just decide to leave without taking the disengage action, they have the option to attack you. So you can use it to kind of get out of dodge and move in that. Nice feature about disengage, which isn't usually talked about, is when you disengage from every enemy that has the option to try to attack you. So, it's not just any enemies that are within 5 feet, which I think I digress on that. The dodge action allows you to essentially ready your character to take a hit and potentially move out of the way. Any attacks that are done against you will all be done at disadvantage, excluding a handful of scenarios or abilities where that may not happen. The help action allows you to give another player advantage on something that they're doing. Whether it be attacks or some sort of skill check. The hide action allows you to hide. Simple as that. You can hide behind a counter, you can hide behind a tree, or anything of that sort. Keep in mind when it comes to hiding, if you're standing out in the middle of the field and you say, I want to take the hide action, like, go for it, but everybody can clearly see you in front of an open field. If you want to take the hide action and go behind a barrel, that's a different story. But keep in mind, if people have eyes on you and they see you hide behind a barrel while you are technically hiding behind the barrel, they probably can tell exactly where you are. A ready action is a bit more of a complicated thing, but it essentially says that I want to hold my action to do something when a certain scenario comes up. Usually it's used for holding attacks, which is the most common one, and rules as written is one of the handful of things that you can do. And that scenario says, like, let's say you're the archer of the group and you want to, everyone as of now is out of range of you, or you can't see someone around a corner. On your turn, you'd be like, well, there's nothing I can do on this turn. I want to ready my action to shoot an enemy once they get in within range of me. So once an enemy gets within range of you, you can use your action. Now, you have to kind of specify what you intend to do, simply for the fact that, like, oh, I readied my bow to shoot somebody once they turn the corner. But let's say, I don't know, someone comes across and you decide, like, oh no, I actually want to use my spell. Unfortunately, your action was held to shoot your bow and not cast a spell. And then use an object, turning a doorknob, opening up a chest, potions and all that will be, if it's a consumable potions, those will be considered bonus actions. Like if you want to use a spell scroll, spell scrolls will consume an action of that sort. That's kind of more of an open-ended situation. Bonus actions will come up based on your character. Now, reactions, there's only a handful of reactions that any character can ever do. There are certain abilities that allow you to do more reactions, but reactions are taken in between turn phases or even potentially as an action in someone else's turn. I earlier spoke about opportunity attacks. If you were ever into combat with somebody and you were to leave that combat zone, and the combat zone is usually within 5 feet of the enemy, certain conditions will allow that radius to be larger or smaller, depending. But if you exit that combat zone, that enemy can take a reaction to attack you. So even though it's your turn, they can attack you as you leave that zone. Other reactions allow you to cast spells like Shield, which allows you to pop up a defensive barrier over yourself, increasing your AC, which is your armor class, to potentially avoid being hit. I'll do my best to bring up reactions as they come up. Some characters have the ability to use a reaction for something else, but we can get into that as we go along. As of now, comments, questions, concerns?
I do have a question. So,
Yes.
if we use the Roll20 on our phone, I was trying to see it, but I don't know if it shows up. It shows where we can roll the dice.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't show on my side where it's rolling, but is it showing on y'all's side? Like
Yes.
the,
You
the
just rolled
3D?
two d20s.
Is it showing it like it would if I clicked it on the computer?
Um,
Because I have my character sheet up and everything on my phone as well because I only have 2 monitors, so I'm trying to like go back and forth between my stream and my character sheet, but I don't want to miss something with the character sheet.
Yeah, it's showing me that you just rolled a d20. It says that you rolled it twice. Can you click on something on your character sheet, like an attack? Can you make an attack on that character sheet? And it should show up properly over here on this end. Yep, so you just use your dagger and you roll that at a as a nat 20 for 23. So yeah, it's showing up on my end.
Okay. Because I know it's not showing up on my screen like the 3D. so I didn't know. if
Yeah,
that
it's
would
not
be
it's not showing
useful.
the 3D dice, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You probably won't do that if you do it
Question
on
of
your
that
phone.
turn order, that round box thing. Where'd you find that again, real quick?
Actually, this was something made by the librarian that runs the games. If you want, I can send you the image.
It
I think this
popped
is
up
a pretty useful
before when I
thing.
was tinkering. I
It's
didn't
in the
know.
handouts. If you go to the journal,
Yeah.
it's
Is
in
that
the
internal
handouts.
handouts?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Then turn order at the bottom.
So you'll be able to open that whenever you want.
Oh.
It's a phenomenal reference to use, throughout the game. 5 years into running games, and I'm still using it to this day.
Turn order. There it is. Yeah, roger that. Okay.
You know what they should have done though? They should have had like changed the order of them each time just to show that you can do things in different order.
Yeah. So that's actually a great example. While it specifically says here action, bonus action, and movement, you can do any of those three things in whatever order you want. You can move 5 feet forward, use a bonus action, move another 10 feet, use your action, and then finish off your 15 feet of movement to finish off the movement. You can move, action, bonus action, in whatever order. You can break it apart however you need to accomplish whatever task you're looking to do. So it never has to be you have to use your action, then you have to use your bonus action, then you have to use your movement. You can move, bonus action, do nothing, do something, however you want to do it. But once we get into it, I'm sure it'll make a little more sense. So going through all of that, I'm going to cancel my stream since we're going to get into other things. So I do currently have a little scenario set up to kind of warm us up into the whole thing. So as of now, everyone's screen on Roll20 should have changed to a completely different map.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So these will be our battle maps. Usually when we fall into an encounter, or if we need to, show placement and movement of people, these are the battle maps that we'll be going into. And they'll have different environments, different lighting situations. This is just a fairly basic one that I have here. Each square will generally represent 5 feet of movement. There will be a handful of scenarios where each square could potentially represent more or less, which I will usually tell you ahead of time. But for the most part, standard is 5 feet of movement per square. Since most of you have 35 feet of 30 feet of movement, you can move obviously a total of 6 squares. So to get some rolls going, to kind of get the mechanics of this down, I'm going to open up turn order. All of you guys should see a little box that comes up that says turn order. And I'm going to have you guys roll for what we're going to always call initiative. To roll initiative, I need you to first click on your character token, and then in your character sheet, in the initiative section of said sheet, hover over it so it highlights red, and then click that, and you should be dropped into the turn order.
Okay, so you said to go to the initiative.
Yeah, so first click on your token, your character token first. That way it selects you as, the character. And then on your character sheet, towards the top end, in between armor class and speed, there should be initiative. If you hover over the word, click that, it'll make the appropriate roll with the appropriate modifiers.
Where's the token at?
On
Upper
the map.
center
I
of
can
the
actually, on the
sheet.
bottom down here. I can force your
Or
screens
token,
to
yeah.
look wherever I need you as well.
Okay, I clicked on it, and then what do I do?
And then click initiative on your character sheet.
Click.
The word, yeah.
So you should be able to find initiative at the close to the top of your screen or top of your character sheet between your armor class and your speed.
Okay.
There we go. And now
Nice.
everybody should be in turn order. Oh, you rolled a nat 20 on that. So if you look at the chat box, you'll see that the color is green. Usually, if it's green, that means you rolled a natural 20. Rules as written, natural 20s only count for attacks. But since everyone kind of does it the other way, natural 20s will pretty much succeed you in abilities, skill checks, and a handful of other things. But as they come up, they'll come up. So now I'll go into my character sheets and I will run initiative for these guys. I will do my best for any characters to color code them, simply so you can tell me which exactly one you're talking about. So if we look at the top end of the screen, you'll see 3 zombies, which I can also do this. Ah, scary, right?
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
you can click anywhere on the screen to get rid of that. But there'll be 3 zombies. One is red, blue, and green. When you're attacking or being attacked, I'll say you'll either tell me you're attacking red or you're being attacked by red. But
I like
since
that one roll. Keep that going.
right, a negative 0. So turn order.
Ah,
So your initiative is determined by your dexterity, and usually exclusively your dexterity, and maybe other modifiers based on your class or feats. That's essentially how fast your character reacts to some sort of combat encounter or a crisis situation. In this scenario, Mandy's character rolled a natural 20, meaning that she was on the ball, she knew what was happening, and she's the first one to react in this turn order. So in this turn order, you're the first one to go. You can open up the turn order sheet if you want, but you are able to do anything you want on this turn. You can move, you can cast a spell, you can. It's essentially your token or your turn to do whatever actions you care to do. You are able to currently see that there are 3 zombies north of you, or northeast of you, and as of right now, you are supposed to fight and kill them off. So, what would you like to do on your turn? I don't think I can hear you right now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm gonna move closer to the red zombie.
Okay. So you can move you can move up to 6 squares this turn, unless you decide to use your action to dash, allowing you to double that movement to 60 feet. Essentially, you decide to run towards it.
I'm going to dash.
You're going to dash? All right.
Yes.
So that'll consume your action. You get 1 action per turn, 1 bonus action per turn, and 30 feet of movement. So one thing you can do to help out is once you pick up and select your token, so like you can kind of move them around, but you haven't dropped them. If you hit the letter Q, it will bring up a ruler to allow you to determine feet and distances. And if you hit that, if you hit the Q key again, it will put a waypoint, and you can essentially move up into the side. So I'm gonna move. What is it? Tavik up. Yep. So you can kind of see it on your screen. I see you did a little juke there to the left and then run back up.
Whoa. Oops. What am I doing? I'm messing it up.
I'm still trying to get used to all this. This is my first time doing this.
Yep. Nope. It's definitely gonna be a bit of a learning curve.
You don't have to hit Q each square though. Just FYI.
Yeah. You just have to. The only time you would need to
Unless you
use
want
hit Q is if you want to like turn or make a diagonal move or something like that. Otherwise, it'll just move you in a straight line.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. That's why it looked like I was going zigzag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from that movement, so if you were to just go in a straight line, that would be 50 feet of movement. I'm going to assume your character didn't decide to like ballet dance over there. So at the current position that you're at, you have moved 50 feet and can move 10 more feet in any direction you'd like.
Okay, so would I just go back and redo it?
No, you can stay where you are.
Okay.
Since
Or you can move 10 more feet.
yeah, you can move 10 more feet in any direction you want. Do you want to move 10 more feet closer to the red zombie?
There we go.
That works. So you have used all of your movement. You have used your action. Now you still have a bonus action. As a warlock, I don't think you have any bonus action abilities or spells. So
It says
under
for me, it says under I have cantrips.
Cantrips are an action for most of them.
yes.
It's not all of them.
So if you open up cantrips, you'll see that the casting time for them is 1 action. So cost you the resource of an action to do so.
And it says I
Think of
have 1 slot available for
a spell.
spell.
Yeah, because you're a warlock, you get a very limited number of spell slots, unlike a wizard or a bard.
So as the warlock, you are limited on spell slots, but whenever you cast any spell, you'll always cast it at a higher level, usually more at a level higher than what you are casting it at. So if I am correct, I believe you cast all your spells at a 3rd level.
Warlocks cast their spells at the highest level possible for them to a maximum of level 5.
I think
So, like right now, it would still be level 1 until they got access to level 2 spells, like where a wizard and a bard would. Then they get level 2 spells and upwards.
okay. So I think at level 1, you guys have access to
Just level 1 spells.
yeah, level 1 spells. Yeah, I've only used warlocks as an NPC, so I will read up on all your specific classes to be able to better help you. But as of now, yes.
And Mandy, think of cantrips as smaller ability spells that you can cast an unlimited amount of times, basically, because they do not require a spell slot.
Okay.
Like Eldritch Blast. You can just cast Eldritch Blast all day.
Yeah, it won't consume any spell slots of yours. And it's just you can just go constantly all day with that.
Okay.
Right. But
I
as of
understand now.
now, that is your current turn. And since you have nothing else to do, we'll say that is your end of the turn, and we'll move on to the next person. Tavik.
I will dash to the right over here, 50 feet. So I'm only at 25 feet. So I'm little. And how do I make it go?
So long as you have the select option on the toolbar or Control S, you can just grab and you can just drag and drop your character.
Oh, select. Aha.
Pick it up and hit Q. That's where you can see the ruler. Yeah.
Okay.
Now another thing which I have had issues with people, but I will put it out there as an option for you to do, is once you have your character, once you have it in your selected hand token, and you can kind of move it around. If you hit right click at the exact same time as you're holding down the left, it will bring up the exact same ruler. So instead of it essentially replaces Q.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so you can just drag, you can grab it, right click, figure out your distances or any adjustments you need to make, and then drop them there.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right. So that is your action, movement, and you have a bonus action, but I don't think you have anything available to you there.
Nope, I do not.
Alright. So that's your end of your turn. Sal?
I guess I'll just go 60 feet up. Can I see? Can I see green from here, or is like how tall are these rocks? Do you say?
I'm gonna say you can see them.
Okay.
They're like waist length or waist height.
I'll throw a fireball at the or firebolt at green then.
All right. So cast your firebolt. Right. So Cell is
21?
going to use his action to cast it. They're within 120 feet, which is his range. And you said you wanted to cast it on green?
Yeah.
All right. So for the spell that he did, it's conditionally known as a spell attack. He'll roll a d20 plus any modifiers. That specifically for him, it would be a +5. So he rolled a 16 plus 5 for 21. And at this point, we'll compare it to the creature's armor class, or essentially its ability to defend itself from any incoming attack. That'll be determined based on armor, dexterity, and other variables depending on class, creatures, or anything of that sort. Normally, I won't tell you on creature's armor class. You'll kind of have to figure that out as you miss or not miss. I'll just say whether you hit or didn't. Since you're hitting for this scenario, the armor classes of these zombies is an armor class of 8. So long as you either roll an 8 or higher, you will hit and are able to do damage to it. So that 21 clearly beats an 8. So you hit and you can roll damage. To roll damage, all he has to do is just hit the firebolt icon in the chat box. It should highlight red. By clicking it, it'll do the appropriate roll with the appropriate modifiers. So you do 9 points of damage. I will subtract that on my end. Can everybody see the green little bar underneath it?
Yep.
So that's so that'll be its health. Everyone should have seen the bar shrink. Normally, I could tell you that a creature's bloody to give you an indication of where they're at. You can see exactly how much health is there or not. So you saw it drop to a little bit above half, and it is now, a damaged creature with a lot less hit points. I think since we're all gamers here, we know how health bars work. All right. You still have a bonus action? Anything there?
No, I don't have any bonus actions, so I'm good.
All right. So that'll be your turn, Oliver.
Okay, well in that case, I would move up there next to my buddy Cell. And also similar question, like, can I see them from where I'm at?
Yes, you'll be able to see them.
All right. In that case, I would. Where is the open character? There we go. I would like to use my vicious mockery on the red one.
All right. I'm assuming that's a spell save DC.
That is a spell save DC, wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So spell save DCs is there are certain spells that don't make an actual attack, but force a creature to either have some sort of internal, I guess, resistance towards it. In this case, I will roll a wisdom base check on the creature to see whether or not it can resist the vicious mockery. So vicious mockery, if we open up the spell description, essentially you insult the creature so bad that it does psychological damage to it in a magical way. So your spell save DC is 13.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Sometimes it's proper on here, sometimes it's not. So I'm gonna roll the creature's spell save, or I'm gonna roll the creature's save, which it has a wisdom save of 0. It rolled a nat 20, so it was able to beat your spell save DC, thus taking no damage.
The zombie knows he's ugly.
The insult wasn't good enough for it. You have to do better next time.
Come to terms with it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll whenever we like get to actual playing, I'll have a page up with insults for you.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
I love that. I love it when bards have actual insults ready to go.
How's your
Alright.
singing voice, by the way?
It's horrible. I'm not going to do that for you. I'm not going to. If I was to do that, I think I might kill the big bad evil guy.
One way to find out. All right. I'm assuming that's the end of your turn.
Yes, because I do not have a bonus action that I am aware of.
All right. So now it is the zombies' turn. So now I get to control these guys. They all have. Once again, normally I won't say any of the information that I have on my end of the things. You can either discern that through various means or figure it out as you go. Each of these zombies have a movement speed of 20 feet, so I can move them a total of 4 squares. Since I've been attacked by Cell and Oliver, since they're mindless zombies, they're pretty much going to go to the first thing that they see. Since was it Lazara?
Larissa?
Say that again.
Lestrange?
Larissa.
Larissa. All right.
Y-
Horrible at
Larissa
names.
Lestrange.
So since you are the fresh meat in front of them, they're going to be moving 20 feet towards your direction. This one is going to be moving 20 feet and is going to take its action to dash to get closer to you. This one, having a better view of down here of Tavik, is going to move 20 feet and then going to take his action to dash another, to get another round of movement for an additional 20 feet, but only uses 10. This one's going to dash 2 just to get up on you. So they use their movement, they use their action, they don't have any bonus actions, and that's all that they can do on their turn. Larissa, it's your turn now.
Okay.
So as of this moment, you have 2 zombies near you. As a warlock with a relatively lower AC, I can see your AC is 12. You have a couple options in this scenario. Normally, I'd like you make the decisions on your own. Since you're new, I'll kind of give you the options available to you. You can either decide to attack them, you can decide to run away from them, or you can decide to do something else crazy.
I plan on attacking them, and I'm actually going to use one of my cantrips if that is available for me.
Yes.
And
So,
I am going to use Eldritch Blast on the green zombie.
okay. So another rule that comes up here in this situation is there will be there are primarily two types of attacks. There are ranged attacks and melee or close combat attacks. Under normal circumstances, you can run them as is. Eldritch Blast is considered a ranged attack. Whenever there is an enemy within 5 feet of you, you will have disadvantage on that attack. Essentially, they're close enough that they're messing with your throws and everything, so it's a lot harder for you to hit something. Since that is the condition you can do, I'm going to redcon them and move them back a little bit so that you don't have disadvantage on this situation. But as a future thing to note, keeping away from enemies would be your best ability, especially if you're trying to use more of your ranged abilities. So since they're not within 10 feet of you, or since they're not within 5 feet or within melee range of you, they can't affect your throw. So I see that you already rolled your Eldritch Blast, and you rolled an 8.
I
So
haven't
you
rolled
rolled
my
a...
Eldritch Blast.
Huh?
I haven't rolled the Eldritch Blast yet. I haven't clicked it yet.
Oh,
I would click it, correct?
Yeah, so I do see you roll on my end, but you can run it again if you'd like. Alright. So for that one, you rolled an 18 with the appropriate modifiers, brings you up to 23. And you said you wanted to hit green?
Yes.
Yep. So a 23 beats its AC of 8. So you make contact with it, and you can roll the damage for that Eldritch Blast.
Okay, how do I do that?
You said you're on the phone, correct?
I'm just using it on the computer.
Oh, okay, so if on the chat box, so where you see that you rolled Eldritch Blast, all you just hover over Eldritch Blast, click on that, and then it'll give you the damage rolled.
It
So
says 10 force.
10 force damage.
Max damage.
So you maxed it out, so it takes 10 force damage. As you guys can see, there will be different types of damage. Certain creatures will have resistances to various types. Zombies in this situation don't have any resistances, so your damage will be complete in its entirety. So you do 10 points of damage. It took 10. It has a little sliver of health left, so it is still currently up. So that is your action. You have movement and a bonus action. You do not have to move if you don't want to, but you're welcome to, and I don't think you have anything to do with your bonus action right now, so that's just kind of there. You can use it or leave it. You don't have to use everything available to you at this turn. Is there anything else you want to do?
No.
All right, so we'll end your turn there. Tavik.
He's up in melee range of me, so I'll probably use my short sword.
Okay.
That's not good.
All right, so you rolled a 10. Its AC, it's 8, so you hit. Roll damage.
So with piercing, it's 8.
Doing 8 piercing. It has no resistances or vulnerabilities to either or, so I'll take the damage as is. Anything else for your turn?
What's the bonus? I can't move because then he'll get an attack of opportunity on me, correct?
Mm-hmm. You could risk it, potentially him not being able to hit you, but that's a gamble that you'll take.
You're a halfling. Do you have a bonus action to disengage? Is that?
Do I?
Is
Where's
that
that at?
No, I think
That
it's
is
a
a
move with
rogue.
an enemy creature.
Oh, it's a rogue thing. That was a halfling thing.
Yeah, cunning action for rogues.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Halfling nimbleness, yeah. So you have halfling nimbleness. You can move through the space of any creature that is a size larger than you. You
Yeah,
are
she is.
technically considered a small creature, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a medium-sized creature, but I don't think you have any. I don't think you have any bonus action abilities.
Nothing.
Not that I can see.
Well, let's try to move. I want to see how this works.
All right. So you're moving out of melee range from this creature.
Yeah.
So
I
where do
I
you?
run into the forest here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oop,
So move your character just kind of 10 feet in whatever direction you want to see if it tries to attack you. All right. So since you moved out of its range, which actually I'm going to let me do this. I won't have this always on, but I think this is a good visualization for the time being. So this creature's melee range is that green area. So you moved out of its range. It's going to try to attack you as you move out by making a slam attack,
Slam it.
attacking you for 15. Does that beat your AC?
Armor class is 14, so it does by 1.
Alright, so it managed to succeed in its attack and hit you for 4 bludgeoning.
Okay.
So you take the damage but are able to move as you wished.
Okay. So then where does it all automatically record my damage
Oh.
somewhere?
So this is a great time to deal with this now. If you click on your token, you should see 3 bubbles above it pop up: a red, green, and blue. The green bubble represents your health. The blue bubble represents your AC, and the red bubble represents your passive perception. I won't get too much into passive perception right now, but it essentially is your general awareness of your surroundings.
Okay.
So in this situation, you'll have to subtract the 4. If you go into the green bubble and click on it,
Yeah.
it should put up a little text box. Just hit -4
Okay.
and then enter, and it'll automatically do the math for you.
Very cool.
Hold on, what's the red bubble again?
The red bubble is passive perception.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay, so blue's AC green is health. That is passive perception.
All right. There we go.
I was wondering what those numbers were for.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. I got caught up in everything. I forgot to tell you the
perfect.
basics of how your character works. So we'll run with that. So that is, I'm assuming that's the end of your turn since you've
Yep.
done your action movement and you have no bonus action. All right, Sel.
I'm gonna throw some magic missiles. Finish off the green one.
All right.
Oh,
Alright.
that was bad.
So, coolest thing about magic missiles is it always hits, regardless of the situation.
Unless shield.
Yes, unless shielded or various other
Guns.
abilities.
Yeah.
So the way now this is still debated, doesn't specifically say anywhere in the book. The way I run magic missiles is you will run damage for each individual missile you launch. Magic missile launches a total of 3, and since you're running all of them, we'll say the first
Oh,
one.
man. 3 1s? That's terrible.
First one goes in for 2. The second one goes in for 2. And that technically is enough to kill them. Zombies have a special ability called Undead Fortitude. If damage reduces a zombie to 0 hit points, it must make a Constitution saving throw with a DC of 5 plus the damage taken. Unless the damage is radiant or from a critical hit, on a success the zombie drops to 1 hit point instead. So the second attack brought it down to 0. And its DC will be 5 plus 2 for a total of 7. I'm gonna make a con save for it. And its con save rolled is 11. So it comes back up to 1. You did make a third attack against it. That's going to bring it back down to 0. And it's going to get another con save to see if it stands up again. And it does.
Dang. All right.
So it currently has 1 hit point. As it died, came back, died, and came back. Is that the end of your turn?
I'll just move. I'll move up.
Right.
That's my turn.
Oliver?
I shall move up 30 feet to get within melee range. I can't see shit now. God damn it. Okay, so I was right there. Cool.
Is it showing all the numbers for you guys too, or is it just me?
It is showing all the numbers.
Okay.
It's not doing it when I do it for myself. It's only showing it when you guys do it on your. There you go. That looks better.
So
You trying to go there?
okay, so yeah, I can get there. Hey, no, grab the token. Thank you. That's where I wanted to go.
All right.
Right, and I'm going to stab him with my rapier. Or at least to attempt to.
I attempt to stab.
Roll to stab.
That is an 18.
Right.
Oh.
An 18 beats its 8, so you hit it. You can roll damage
Right, and then I'm going to roll. What did I roll?
for 7.
Hold on a second. What was that actual roll? Was that 7 plus 5? No, 7 plus something.
Yeah, so if you hover over the 7, it'll tell you what you rolled. So it's a d8 plus 3.
I rolled a 4 plus 3. I'm going to use my piercer feat, which allows me once per turn that a creature of attack that deals piercing damage, I can re-roll one of those attacks.
Oh, okay. You have to use the new roll though, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you mind popping up the piercer feat?
Yes.
It should be the little chat bubble that you can see there. All right. Right. Yeah. You can just hit it again for the damage, and then we'll take the new roll. All right. So you did 4 this time.
It's a gambit or a gamble.
But sometimes it could work out in your favor. That's definitely
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
That one
Nice.
didn't, but oh well.
So I'll bring that up.
Either way, I still did 4 damage.
Which is, damage is damage.
Damage is damage.
So you did action, movement. I'm assuming you don't have a bonus action. End of your turn.
Actually, Bardic Inspiration is a bonus action. Last I checked.
It is a bonus action. Do you care to use it?
I will Bardic Inspiration or Warlock.
All right. Can you pop Bardic Inspiration up there?
Yes. Give me a second. Bardic Inspiration.
Right.
And it
So
should
Larissa,
be a D.
Larissa, Oliver gave you what's called a Bardic Inspiration. For once during the next 10 minutes, you can re-roll or not re-roll. You can add a D6 at this level.
Yes.
You can choose to add a D6 to one of 3 different abilities. You can either do it for an ability check, an attack roll, or a saving throw. I will tell you what consists of an ability check, attack roll, or a saving throw once it comes up, but know that you have a Bardic Inspiration dice available to you for now.
Okay.
And what I'm going to say for that Bardic Inspiration is the darkness is full of everything you fear, yet everything you seek.
I like that.
Very inspiring.
So in game, essentially, he is inspiring you with magical confidence to be able to do better in whatever you're trying to do.
Okay.
All right, so we'll move over to the zombies. So one of the zombies is going to move towards you, Larissa. Green is going to move towards you. Red is on Oliver, and then blue is going to move towards Tavik.
Bring it.
Huh?
Nothing.
Okay.
Talking shit.
Green is going to attack Larissa for a slam attack for an 11. Does that meet or beat your AC?
My AC. Where would I find my AC?
You can either find it in your
Oh, armor
character
class?
sheet.
No.
Nope. Okay.
My armor class is 12.
Yep, armor class. You can also click on your token, and it'll be the blue bubble number. So it fails in its attack and isn't able to hit you. Either your armor protects you, or you're able to move, dodge, or parry the attack in such a way that it is ineffective. That's more or less if you wanna have that head cannon, that's kind of how that looks. I will try to describe them as they go along just to give you those moments. I've been failing at that as of recently, but in this situation, it tries to slam its body into you, but you kind of prepared and ready seeing it, are able to move out of the way, and it completely whiffs and misses, just stumbling by you. Oliver, red is going to attack you for another slam attack as it throws its body into you for a 14,
That does hit me.
making full contact on you, doing a total of 5 bludgeoning damage against you.
Ow! Ow! That hurts. Ooh, that hurts. Okay, you said 5. I am now at 4 HP.
Blue zombie is going to attack Tavik by slamming its body against you for a 13.
14. Beat ya.
Alright, you in the same way, your armor is able to kind of cushion the blow. While it makes contact on you, it is ineffective in its damage. Alright, Larissa, it is now your turn.
Okay, so for the green zombie, I am actually going to use my quarterstaff.
Mhm.
Mm, No, I'm going to use my dagger. And I'm going to melee him with. So I would click dagger, correct?
Yes, you would click dagger. Right. So we rolled a 17, and with the dagger, you have a dexterity of 1 and a proficiency of 2 for a total of 3 modifier, giving you 20, which beats its 8 AC. You're able to come in with your dagger and stab it right in the chest. Roll damage
Roll damage is 5.
for a total of 5 piercing. Brings down its health to 0, but it's able to enable its undead fortitude. So it makes a con save with that 5 for a DC 10 and is successful, able to stay standing. Despite you thrusting your dagger straight through its chest, the necrotic energy flowing through its body keeps it barely alive. Anything else for your turn? You still have movement and a bonus action.
I don't think I have a bonus action.
Right?
A bonus
How would I-
action that you can do.
Yeah, I don't think she actually has anything there.
The only
Um,
real bonus action a warlock would have at level 1 is if they have the spell Hex.
I do have the spell hex.
Oh,
If that's what it's under, like the where it says slots total 1, slots remaining 0. It's got
Oh.
create or destroy water, thunder wave, witch bolt, hex. Create or destroy water and thunder wave.
Oh, some of these spells are in twice. Let me fix that in your sheet. You're gonna see some things disappear.
The bottom 2.
Yep, I also accidentally deleted Hex, but I can fix that
Oh.
because I am God.
more. Gone now.
So those are technically my bonus actions?
Your
No.
bonus action is just Hex.
Yes, so if you so I opened up Hex for you. If you see the spell there, you'll see the casting time for it is 1 bonus action. So you can cast that spell using your bonus action.
Okay.
A spell like Witch Bolt requires an action to use, but you use your action to stab it, it was unsuccessful, and you can cast a spell using the bonus action to cast Hex if you would like to.
I want to use my bonus action and
Okay.
cast Hex and cast it on. Now, am I able to reach the red zombie or is Oliver in my way?
You are able to reach the red zombie. So for this one, it requires verbal, somatic, and a material component. A petrified Eye of Newt, but I remember when we created your character, you have a spell focus, which takes up the material component part of it. So if we read the description, you place a curse on a creature that you can see within range. Since the red zombie isn't really obscured in any major fashion, you can easily look over Oliver's shoulder. You have vision of it, so you meet that criteria. It's a bonus action. It's within 90 feet. You meet all the criteria. You're able to say the spell, and you're able to give the components for it. Until the spell ends, you specifically deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage to that target whenever you hit it with an attack. You can also choose one ability when you cast the spell, and that target has disadvantage on ability checks made with that chosen ability. If the target drops to 0 before the spell ends, you can use a bonus action to subsequently, on your turn, change the curse to a different creature. So, what's really cool about this hex is anytime you attack that creature that is hexed by you, you get to deal extra damage. But the real nifty and useful part of this, especially for these zombies, is you can give any creature disadvantage on any ability check, like a constitution saving check.
Okay. Can I also use the bardic inspiration?
You can, in this situation, it actually wouldn't help you.
Okay.
You can-
Since you were able to hit the creature, the Spartic Inspiration won't do anything additional for you. it would just be used up on that situation. Retroactively, what I say is, let's say, is you can use your bonus action ahead of time, or we'll retroactively say that you use your bonus action earlier to hex green first, and then you gave it a disadvantage on all charisma-based checks, and then you did your dagger attack for 20 and doing 5 damage. So essentially, it would have to make that Constitution saving throw again, but that this time at disadvantage with the con save. Since we already rolled a 16 for the first one, I'll roll it again. And it's still a 16. So it didn't really help us too much in that situation. But now every time that you attack any of these creatures and they have to make a con save, they'll have to do it at disadvantage and are more likely to fail it.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my bonus action and I'm gonna use Hex, and I'm going to hex the green zombie
Okay.
and hex him where he doesn't have the advantage on any of his rolls, his
Excellent.
constitution rolls. So I would click it, correct?
So you actually don't have to click anything on your end. That'll be stuff that I'll take on mine. So for the sake of knowing that that creature is hexed, I'm going to put a little skull on it. And I'm also going to put a little skull on you, saying that you're the one that hexed it. So it now has disadvantages on those Constitution saving throws. Up until it dies, at which point you can throw it on someone else. So
Okay.
another thing to note on the spell Hex is it's what's considered a concentration spell. Essentially, so long as the spell is active, you have to mentally focus on maintaining it alive. Anytime you receive damage, your concentration on the spell could waver. So the spell is continuously going, which is very nice, especially for warlocks, but you have to be careful in not getting hit, otherwise you have a chance of losing the spell.
Okay.
Right? So we'll actively or retroactively say that you hexed it, you hit your successful 20 attack, it did a disadvantaged con save, but was able to keep itself going. So that would be your action, bonus action, and you do have movement. So you can choose to try to back away, but they will get opportunity attacks against you. My suggestion would be to stay where you're at.
I'm just gonna stay where I'm at and end my turn.
All right. Havoc.
Yeah. We'll do another short sword attack on this bastard.
Okay.
Okay. What I get?
Nice.
20.
Nat 20. All right. So we have our
Nice.
first crit of the entire game.
Oh man, got it.
Congratulations. All right. So you, with a natural 20, regardless of its AC or anything of that sort, you automatically make contact with it, and you get to do extra damage to it. So in this situation, roll damage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, did it not do it? Oh, that's interesting.
It added the well 5 from my short sword, which I already had. Piercing
Oh,
7.
I see what happened. Did you roll damage on your character sheet or in the chat box?
I did it in my character sheet.
That is perfectly fine. If you
Okay.
did it in the chat box, it would double roll for it. I don't have a way. I haven't found a way yet to customize the way I wanted to do it, but this works out perfectly.
Okay.
So as we talked before, all critical damages will be the normal dice roll plus its plus damage modifier, and then a full dice roll at maximum. So since you're rolling on a d6, it's going to be the 7 that you rolled plus a 6 to it, bringing us up to a grand total of 13 damage that you get to do on this zombie.
Well, that takes care of him.
So that brings it. So that actually, that 13 is enough to bring it down to 0. But since
Fingers
it
crossed.
is a zombie, it has its Undead Fortitude ability activated. But since you did 13 points of damage onto it, its DC to save it is 13 plus 5 for a total of 18. And it fails. So this zombie isn't able to resist the onslaught, and it dies, falling to the ground, turning to a pile of ash. Well, actually, since you defeated it, which way? How do you want to go about killing it? Does your character do anything special? Lop off his head?
Yeah, I'm gonna stab because I'm short. Stabbing him from underneath, directly up through the mouth, through the brain.
Excellent. You get the brain, you get it all. The zombie doesn't know what's hit it. Its fortitude tries to kick in, but it is unsuccessful through the sheer decimation of an attack you did. It falls down and turns into dust, ending its undead life.
Sweet. And now I still get to move, correct? Because that was my
Correct.
only thing. All right, then I will. Can we move through this forested area?
Yes, you can.
Okay, let me see real quick. And I could do 25, correct? And I'm gonna close the gap here. Okay. Coming in. Coming in hot. That should be it then, correct?
Sorry, what was that?
I ran. I moved my token up. I'm sorry, I didn't run. I just did movement
Yeah.
of
So
25
you moved from
diagonally up to right next to the red zombie.
correct. So that is proper movement.
Awesome.
And everything there. You have nothing for a bonus action, so that'll be the end of your turn.
Awesome.
And then I know we're taking it a little bit slow right now, but as we kind of get a little more familiar with the rules and how things go, I do ask when you're done with your turn, just say, done with my turn, or I finish my turn, or something like that, and we can just kind of go on there. As things progress, I will eventually just kind of assume your turn is ended and just move on to the next person unless I hear otherwise. Sal?
I will do a firebolt at red.
All right, firebolt at red. 14. Its AC is 8, so you hit.
A big ol' 3.
Down. 3. Yep. Your firebolt courses through the sky, missing Larissa and Oliver in between, hitting this thing right in the face as its face catches up in soot and flames splatter all about, giving it a total of 3 damage. Is that the end of your turn?
Yep, that is my turn. Thank you.
Right. Oliver?
I'm going to cast Healing Word on myself, which I believe is a bonus action.
Yes, I think it is. Healing Word? Yes, Healing Word is a bonus action.
Right. Would you like me to put it up in the description area?
Yes, if you can, just so everyone can kind of see what you're doing and what's going on with it.
Healing Word. There you are. There you go.
Right, so it's a you regain equal 1d4 and your spellcasting modifier.
Which in my case is 3.
Mm-hmm. So I don't. Alright, sweet. It does have it in there. So you regain a total of 4 hit points.
Could have been slightly better. I rolled a 1. And then I'm actually going to move up slightly. And now my next question for you is, what is your rules on flanking?
For the sake, I normally allow them. Well, yeah, we'll say allow them. So flanking rules is another mechanic. It's an optional mechanic in D&D, which allows you to essentially give yourself advantage on an attack by going on two opposite ends of an enemy. So long as you have an ally and yourself on one end, the opponent can't keep track of who's coming from where, and you're able to use that distraction to allow yourself to hit with a better chance.
Is it only gonna be for melee?
Pardon?
Only for melee?
Yes, it very much almost exclusively comes down to melee. There are a handful of other scenarios where spellcasting can take advantage of it, but they're far few in between. So it makes positioning a pretty critical part of the game as well.
Like it.
That's why I moved where I am now.
The only
So,
problem though is
toggle
if we get the flanking, then the enemies do too, though.
Yep. So anything of that sort, so they can flank you, giving themselves advantage on their attacks as well.
Okay, I'm going to run my attack.
So a 21 hits.
Thankfully, the other option was a 1. And then I shall roll my d8, which is 11. And I'm taking that because that's max damage.
Yep, I would not recommend changing that at all.
No, I am not.
So that is minus 11. It is low and not doing so hot. You pretty much put a hole in it. It's starting to look more like Swiss cheese at this point. So I'm going to bring this up now since I feel the situations can come up to it. Rules as written. Once when it involves with level casting spells, you can only cast one leveled spell per turn, excluding a handful of scenarios. So in this situation, you cast Healing Word, which is a leveled spell, considering it costs you a level 1 spell slot. Now, the gamer in me would have looked at this at one point as like, well, if this costs me one bonus action, I could cast a level 1 spell as an action. Rules as written, you wouldn't be able to do that. But since you used a melee attack as your action, no rules were broken, and things were all written as they should be. I'm assuming that's the end of your turn?
Yes.
All right. It is the zombies' turn. Being the scenarios that they are currently in, Red is going to attack Oliver. Since that's where it got attacked, it's going to slam its body at you for 19.
That indeed hits.
Doing a total of 6 bludgeoning.
I'm glad I healed myself, but now it's all gone.
Oof. But you are still up, and that's the important part.
I'm a healer
I
as
am
well.
now at 2.
Right. Blue is dead, so we won't worry about him. And then green is up next. It's going to attack you, Larissa, for a 7 to hit.
Is it against armor class still?
Yes.
Against your armor class. So any attacks will always be against your armor class.
Okay, so my armor class is a 12.
Alright, so it's unsuccessful. Once again, like before, you're able to kind of dodge and weave out of its attack as it tries to lunge its entire body at you. And you take no damage. That is all their turns. It is now your turn, Larissa.
Alright, I am going to use my melee, and I'm going to use my dagger and go for the green zombie.
Excellent. So make your dagger attack. Alright, a 14 is more than enough to succeed. Run your dagger damage. Now, since you also have Hex currently on the zombie, you are able to add a d6 as additional damage against it.
How would I do that?
So on your character sheet, I believe you should have on the in the attacks and weapons box, you should have a Hex button. If you want to hit that for me, it will roll the appropriate dice and damage type. So you rolled a 5, so 4 piercing plus 5 necrotic does a total of 9 damage against it. Since it only had 1, it does get brought down to 0. Its Undead Fortitude takes effect, and since the total damage you did to it was 9, it has to make a DC save of 5 plus 9 for 14. But since it also has Hex, and you gave it disadvantage on con saves, it has to make that Constitution saving throw at disadvantage. So it has to beat a, what did I say? A 14?
Mhm.
And it rolled a natural 1. So how do you kill this thing?
I cut its head off.
Nice. You just come across with your dagger right on its head, and with the hex magic, it finishes the cut for you, completely severing its head from its body, dropping it dead, not even giving it a chance to get its undead fortitude to go through.
But you did also say as long
Oh.
as my concentration is on the hex, I can move it to another opponent, correct?
See what
Correct.
you did there, GM.
I want to transfer the hex over to the red zombie.
All right, we will take hex off of here and transfer it over here.
And just so y'all know, I'm having a blast, by the way.
This is excellent. Right. So that is your action, bonus action. You do have movements. Otherwise, it'll be the end of your turn.
I'm gonna stay where I'm at. I'm ending my turn.
All right. I'm going to make the assumption that the ability that you're using for this creature will also be Constitution. You can make it
Yes.
anything else if you'd like. All right. Tavik, your turn.
Can I use flank?
Yep, you can use flank since Oliver is on the other side.
Use my short sword to cut his damn head off because I saw what happened with the last one.
Do it.
Okay, so I go into here. Oh, short sword. Oh boy.
8.
Not good.
As you make the attack with the short
Great
sword,
advantage
you
though, right?
immediately feel your foot's off. Oh, you do get advantage on it.
Because of flanks,
So-
what would that do?
So you get to roll. So make another regular attack, and we'll take the higher of the two.
Oh, okay.
In future uses, you can toggle the advantage on your character sheet.
That's right, you did say that. Okay, so that's what advantage means with flank.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'll just do it again, right?
Yep.
Okay. Please do better. A little better. 16? That should do it, right?
16. Yeah, a 16 is perfect. As you're going to swing on it, you realize your footing is slightly off, but you're able to quickly make the correction, allowing you to get that 16, making full contact on the zombie, and roll damage. For 9 piercing, which does bring it down to 0, since it only had 4 left. Its Undead Fortitude will try to activate to keep this thing alive. So its saving DC is going to be 9 plus 5 for 14.
Does it count because I cut his head off?
We'll see if you're successful on it.
Okay.
If its body doesn't try to reattach itself.
Oh, okay.
So it rolled a 15. Unfortunately, if it meets, it beats. So its Undead Fortitude is able to keep it alive while you're unable to successfully cut all the way through. Slight slivers left on it, and it heals it to an extent, keeping the zombie still up for 1 HP.
Alright, then that's all I'm going to do.
All right. Sal, your turn.
I will do another magic missile and shoot 3 laser beams at it.
Go for it. So 2.
Okay, can I only get ones on this thing or what?
You have the weakest.
Oh my god!
Wow, that
That's
is
6 in a
3
row. That's 6 in a row because the other ones were 6 too.
Yeah, the other ones
What
were
did we-
1 as well.
What the hell?
I'm. Give me a second. I
Hang on,
want
I
to
gotta-
see the percentage of this happening.
Your new shot is called Magic Tickle.
It's not a programming thing. I did get a 3 that time, so
Are you using the fudge roller? Is that what's going on here? Um,
that's
all right.
weird.
I think I screwed this up, but if I did my calculations right, you had less than a 0.00024% chance of me. Actually, no, it's less than that. It's 0.00006% chance of making that roll.
Like a lotto.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's to the 10,000th place. So congratulations, you beat the odds.
Thanks. Tevik gets an
Right.
natural 20, and I get 6 ones in a row. Awesome.
Right? Like, gotta love it. But he had a 5% chance of that at least. All right, so his Undead Fortitude will be active a potential of 3 separate times. So with that 5 and 2 brings his DC to 7. His first con save will try to keep him up, keeps him up for a 16. Second con save, it's a 12, keeps him up again, and his third con save is a 21. This zombie, folks, is made out of stiffer stuff. It could be Undead himself, as he refuses to go down. Cal, is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Oliver, you're up.
You're muted, I think.
I'm just going to stab him through the throat with my rapier. And that will be with advantage. Yeah,
13 hits.
Right. 28 piercing.
For 6.
6. I shall re-roll that.
Go ahead.
That's a 10.
Even better. Alright, so it's now... So it's saving DC is 15. Can it make it? It can. This
Okay,
zombie
I'm
manages to keep itself alive.
I light it on fire.
I'm gonna bonus action heal myself again because it's gonna kill me. And that's my last spell of the day.
At the end of this campaign, this zombie's gonna pop back up and be like, haha, remember me.
I was really a lich the entire time.
Your tickles do not affect
So
me.
7. That brings me back to max.
Nice.
Okay, and that's the end of my turn.
Alright, it's the zombie's turn now. This thing somehow being able to take hits after from all of you left and right, back and forth. You being the last one that hit it, and with its one-track mind, it goes to slam its body at you for a 19.
A 19 does indeed. Can you stop hitting me?
Doing a total of 7 bludgeoning. This thing is out for your blood specifically.
Clearly, like I guess it did not like it when I mocked it.
Yeah, it was your insults that didn't work.
My nose is not that big.
You're gonna kill me, and I'm gonna bring in my Warforged Barbarian.
That is the end of the zombie's turn. Our warlock. I'm gonna try and finish this off.
Yes, I am actually going. Now, am I far enough for Eldritch Blast?
You are. Since it's not within 5 feet of you, you will not receive disadvantage on that attack.
Okay. Now I do know that I had bardic inspiration. Would that work with Eldritch Blast?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you
If you miss,
yeah,
you can
if
roll it,
somehow
and it
miss,
may make it.
Correct.
So I am going to use Eldritch Blast. See if it hits. Scroll down where I can see what I'm doing.
It's a zombie. You're probably going to hit.
12.
12. Beautifully. All right, roll damage. 8, and since you did put a hex on it, you get to roll an additional 1d6.
Let me pull that back up. And let me roll this. 5 necrotic.
Excellent. You do a total of 13 damage
13.
against this. Its undead fortitude, of course, activates for 13, 18. Its DC to save is an 18. Now, can it make it?
Yep.
An
Nope.
11. I almost thought it would have. All right. With your final blast, how do you kill this thing?
Add some tentacles to it. You're a fathomless warlock.
Am I able to use my tentacles now, or do I have to wait?
No, tentacles won't come up for a little bit, but we can flavor a little bit behind it. Yeah. What
Yeah, flavor the Eldritch
what's
Blast.
your idea here?
My tentacles come out, and it rips it apart.
All right, yeah. As you shoot your Eldritch Blast in this thing, you pop an entire hole through it, and the hex magic behind it essentially puts out these spectral tentacles that grab it and shred it from the inside out, preventing it from ever reusing its undead fortitude as it tries to desperately continue running it as it does. You shred it into pieces. Everyone sees these tentacles, which have never popped up, mind you, all of a sudden just shred this thing into nothing, finishing off and making it unable to come back to life. So that is the end of our first combat scenario. You guys have managed to kill off all these undead zombies. So
So level 2. All right, good job, guys.
I'm just laying on the ground, just covered in blood. I look like shit.
since
Good
we
job.
still do have a little bit of time, and we kind of got in through our combat scenario, I would like to dive a little bit into the role-playing aspect of the game. So at this moment, we'll say that you guys were out on a bounty to finish off a small horde of zombies that have been found around this cultist circle. You managed to finish off the last ones, completing the bounty that you guys were sent off here to do. You, as your characters, are now free to discuss amongst yourselves on the scenario in which just occurred or your future plans on what you would like to do.
To be worried about these tentacles.
I don't know where they came from, but I'm starting to like them.
I-
I want them to stay.
I'm gonna back
I-
up
I-
10 feet.
I don't care where the tentacles came from. They may have just saved my life. I shall praise them like they're gods.
Right, so most of you guys are aware
So-
that she is a warlock. And to your knowledge, you don't know any warlocks that are able to pull out spectral tentacles into this. So the pact that she makes could mean that it's evolving in strength and power. Do with that information as your characters see fit.
Can I speak to Kel in Elvish, since I speak Elvish and he does too?
You can. What do you tell him?
I'm gonna ask him directly so they can't hear. I'm gonna say, do you know anything about this tentacle magic? Should we be worried?
And I'll respond in Elvish and say I have no idea. It's new to me.
What good are you?
In that respect, with tentacles, not very good.
I'm gonna respond to him in Elvish, to a wind song. He is a scholar and a gentleman. Minus the gentleman, because he was throwing fire. That's not very gentlemanly.
I'm just gonna look lost because I don't understand what they're saying, and just say, "Y'all, did y'all see the tentacles?"
I'm gonna look.
I wonder how
I'm
many
gonna look.
other.
Yeah, we did. What the hell was that about?
I wonder how many other things I can rip apart like that.
I don't know what you have sold your soul to, but I thank you for your tentacles and possibly saving my life. Because as you can see, I'm fucked up.
And talking to Oliver, I would say, "You are very welcome. I do not know where they came from, but they came at the right time."
That's
They
for sure.
indeed come at the right time.
All right, what's the plan now? Should we head back to the tavern or inn we were at?
So you guys did collect this bounty from a what is it? A mercenary guild. All they asked is that you bring back the left ear of each zombie, or corresponding digit,
Well,
to prove that you killed them and collect your reward.
well, with the last zombie where I ripped him apart with the tentacles, I managed to collect his left ear.
I go back and get my guy's ear.
I'm just gonna take the ear of the one that's left while I'm sitting there bleeding.
Excellent.
Do you need some help, Oliver?
I'm fine. We just need to take a nap at some point.
Ale and a nap sounds good.
Naps do.
All right.
I guess I'm gonna struggle up and pull out my lute and start playing a song on the way back.
You guys
I do
begin
have a
making your
question,
journey.
though.
Yes. What's your question?
The ones that we got the bounty from, what language do they speak?
They speak common. The specific individual that you got it from was a half elf, and they spoke Elvish. There is also a dwarf and a Oh man, I can't believe I forgot races.
Do
And a
they
Races.
dragonborn.
speak
Kinda what, Dragonborn?
celestial or infernal?
The
No,
half
dolphin.
the just give me a second. The elf actually does know a little bit of celestial.
Okay.
So you guys head back to the bounty office. And lo and behold, the half elf is the one currently manning the front desk. As you guys come through, she looks up at you guys, like, "Oh, have you guys already returned? Too scary, or did you complete the task?"
Well, I sure did not get fucked up like this for no reason, my dear.
Throw that ear on the bar table.
That is everything we were looking for. I believe the bounty was a total of 40 gold pieces. Would you like it divided? You guys can figure that out. She goes underneath the desk and puts a sack down with 40 gold pieces for you guys to distribute however you so see fit. I did also get a special message from you guys by a Gundrick. Where is that damn thing? And she goes through a couple stacks of paper and pulls out a little note. It's like, here it is, a Gundrick Rockseeker. And she hands you guys the note.
I guess we should read the note.
Yeah, can I read the note?
Get a table.
What language is the note written in?
Common.
Okay.
All right, so all of you are able to read it. As you open up the note, it says, Hello, friends. I hope you guys are all doing well. I was wondering if you guys could do me a favor and do an escort of a couple of supplies I need delivered. If you wish to meet me out in Neverwinter, I can give you more details on it. I can pay you an easy 10 gold for each one of you if you're willing to do this favor for me. Signed, Gundrick Rockseeker.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Looking for work. Let's meet the pool.
Let's do it.
Let's go do it.
Excellent. And that is where, since it is our normal or our end time, I think we're doing 3 hours. We will end today's session there. You guys have managed to complete the mercenary task of hunting down a small horde of zombies, which have been giving the town quite a bit of trouble. You now know why they were so difficult to take down, and have decided to meet Rockseeker out in Neverwinter to take on a simple request that he has now for you guys.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
We did it.
Yay!
Tutorials
Excellent.
completed.
Right? Tutorial's done. You guys can now go into the real world. You guys are going to fight a big boss next one. We're going to go straight to Elden Ring difficulty, and good luck. Have plenty of backup characters.
I always have plenty of backup characters.
Instant level up to level
Okay, forget
5. And then,
backup characters. Got it.
So I guess another thing that now that we're actually talking about it, I didn't bring up in the session 0 game is how we want to, I guess, progress story-wise. Do we want to have, I guess, do we want to play this on, I guess, hard mode and have permanent deaths be an option? This is a world of magic, so there is always the ability to revive yourselves.
No.
But being the situations that your character could die, how do we want to run that? I can easily tweak the game so that, there aren't permanent deaths, and there's always, something to kind of keep you guys going, more to keep this game's story aspect running through it. Early levels, I will kind of baby the game, simply to not kill you outright since you guys are level 1. But as the game progresses, I will, be more aggressive in the way I take some of my opponents.
With it being my first game ever, I mean, complete first session, first game ever. I say no on the permanent deaths because I
probably a good
mean,
idea.
I might end up.
Yeah, that's
So
perfectly fine.
basically, the way I see it is, I might fuck around and find out, and I don't want to end up dying.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I will, I'll adjust the game accordingly. Please, explore, do around, as you said, fuck around and find out, see how that ends up going. I am
If
a very big advocate of, there are consequences to all of your actions, so keep that in mind. I'm not going to straight outright kill you under most circumstances. There may be a Deus Ex Machina from here to there, but also keep in mind that, under the appropriate circumstances and times, I probably won't go easy on you in some things. And, if your character goes down, they can still be revived, they can still be brought back, but there's always those heroic deaths are well death.
all I'm saying is, if you kill Oliver, oh well, you kill Oliver.
Fair enough.
Challenging, but
But
not too difficult.
If I have to bring out my Warforged Barbarian or even Oliver's brother Victor, which you do not want to hear his name is way too fucking long.
All right, so we'll keep it as that. Assuming we're going to try to keep to a 2-week schedule rotation, our next scheduled game should end up falling on April 7th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll go through the chat just to make sure that's okay for everybody and adjust the times as needed. If
Sounds
there are
good.
no other questions, thank you very much for playing. I hope you enjoyed.
There you go. That was fun.
Thank
I
you.
think we got it down.
Oh, that means that I have to wait 2 weeks before I can play more.
At least for
Yes.
now.
Yep.
Until we get a better rhythm down, we'll be on in 2 weeks, and then maybe we can jump on to a weekly basis.
Start there.
Okay.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys all later. And
Thank you, DM.
if not, we'll be in the chat.
Later, later.
All right.
Later.
Yes.